All right. Welcome back to Red Hawks Report. It's been a while. Off season is going on, obviously, and last time I was going over um, the roster and the transfers out and the transfers in. We were on the cusp of getting Lauri Pajuniemi confirmed. We had Janne Kokanen confirmed. So as you can see, I've noted the updates compared to last time over here. And so basically, I'm just going to go over what happened since then. So we had the first big news was Lauri Pajuniemi signed a 3-year deal, I believe it was. I think it was 4 years on Kokanen and 3 years on Pajuniemi. Um, so here they're both here for the long term now, which is very very good. Um, and then also something else happened. Lassi Thomson signed for Ottawa Senators. Um, he got offered a one way deal, from what I remember, which is very lucrative. I know that the Senators have an injury to one of their defenders, so they needed coverage. So he's basically going to be playing for the AHL team and then be called up to cover. I don't think that he's defensively sound to play in the NHL. I'll just be honest. Offensively, he's excellent, but defensively, I don't know. We'll have to see. Another thing that happened: Nikola Pasic left for HV71. This makes a lot of sense. One, because he was a favorite player of Liliando, which is now the GM of HV71. Um, Number two is we've filled top six spots, right? And Pasic would be playing third line minutes, fourth line minutes. He's not going to do that. He's not going to accept that. So it made sense for both the club and for him to part ways. It sucks that he went to HV71, but is from he is from nearby Jönköping, so it makes sense in a lot of ways that he goes there. Um, and then because Lassi Thomson left, we had to find we had to scramble to find a right shot defenseman who is offensively, can fill that same role. And we found Topi Niemälä, which is absolutely amazing. Um, I think he's I think he has even better numbers from the AHL than Lassi Thomson does, or very similar at the very least. He obviously have been worse points wise um, this season compared to 23-24 season. And he was also a -11 instead of a +3. So there's a bit of a down year in the AHL for him. Um, but yeah, and then we also filled a young player, 22 years of age, two-way forward, can play bottom line minute, well, bottom 6 minutes, can play special teams. He's been doing pretty okay points wise in Mura, but I don't think he is here to produce points. I think he's here to be to be a coverage for injuries, uh, first and foremost, and to develop. Right, he's only 22 years of age. He's got good size on him. Um, Powerful skater. So if this is accurate, he should be a very good skater with strength and agility, explosive movements, two-way forward. So he's strong defensively and offensively, reliable in all zones. Yep, this sounds about right. Um, and yeah, Lauri Painem obviously signed. Um, Definitely a crowd favorite in Malmö Arena. He He scored 35 points in 43 games last time he was here. Didn't quite get as much ice time, didn't quite get as much points in the NLA with Lausanne. Obviously, a much more competitive environment in terms of ice time there. Less ice time available. So now he's returning. But yeah, so this is what I've gone. I've also updated this. Oh, Isolon Roosters for Matthias Lassen. I didn't know where he was going. Matthias Lassen. Where is Matthias Lassen? There we go. Yeah. So, Isolon Roosters is a rumor. Just keeping track. Right. And then on Twitter, I was asked to talk about who I think should be assistant captains to Fredrik Hendemark this coming year. And also, I got another question, which is a very interesting one: how to attract more fans, creating a better atmosphere around the club's home games, particularly the cheering section. But I'm thinking like overall, like, and I want to show you, like, when I think of a great atmosphere, we did have a great atmosphere late in the season, but we don't have the same atmosphere around every game. I would want to have this kind of atmosphere around every game. This is at the end of one of the games in the playoffs against Brynäs. 2-0 shutout for Oskar Blomgren. A lot of people in the stands. Yeah, it was very, very, very nice. And then ignore this. And also, obviously, this was with the rival game. Still, though, I think we have a good atmosphere when certain games are played, but the regular season is just pretty dull, right? So we need to find some way, and I think one of the problems is marketing, right? Like, you see Malmö FF being marketed around town, with stickers, tags. Obviously, tagging is illegal, but all I'm saying is, like, you see Malmö FF, the emblem or the name pretty much everywhere around town. I feel like Malmö Redhawks have not been good at advertisement and marketing themselves and trying to attract people. Like, you kind of have to remind people that, hey, like, there's a hockey team in town and we're doing pretty good. Like, come on down to the arena and see for yourself. And enjoy the atmosphere and the camaraderie, and, like, you have to start somewhere where people come around. And then obviously there is still a bit of a thing where, well, a tendency, let's say, where as soon as there's above 10,000 people in the stands, the players can't handle the pressure for whatever reason. That needs to change. They did change it in the playoffs, and against Rögle, they did play very well in the last few games there. But overall, that is a tendency that needs to change. Need to not the tendency to not being able to perform, and frankly, sometimes embarrassing ourselves in front of a full house, or at least a big crowd, like 10, 11,000 people. That's not good. That's not good advertisement. Unfortunately, the reality is it starts with the product on the ice. The product on the ice needs to perform. that will attract more people, and then it snowballs. That's how it is with Malmö FF as well. Nobody remembers this anymore, but in the 90s, I wasn't very old at the time, but I've heard and seen pictures. In the 90s, barely anyone went to the football games because they literally sucked. They literally sucked. And then over the last 25 years, they built up a culture of winning. Winning and good atmosphere around the games attract more fans, and it snowballs. And the marketing is practically not like they don't have to do any marketing anymore because the fans do it for them, right? We need the same thing around the hockey. The hockey needs to be, it starts with the product on the ice, but then after that, we need to advertise the club for other potential fans or other like like it is difficult. It is different because there's not as strong a hockey culture than it is football culture, but I feel like we can draw a lot of good lessons from what Malmö FF have done over the last 20, or at least the last 15 years, you know? So, and especially with social media now, it's so much easier to reach out to people. So, marketing and advertisement and all that stuff needs up from the club side of things. They need to do better getting getting the name out there. Heck, on the city buses, right? There's flags on the game days, and there was one. I remember this one time. I was taking the bus to go see a game of hockey, but the flag on the fucking bus was for the handball game. The handball club, Malmö Hoko, had a home game as well, and they had their flag on the fucking bus. But the handball club takes what, 3,000 people or something? Like in comparison to the hockey, it's a lot smaller, right? So why shouldn't that flag be the Malmo Redhawks emblem, right? I don't know who decides that stuff, but that needs, like there is a hierarchy to go around, right? It's football, then hockey, then handball, I guess, basketball. I don't know what else. But like there is a hierarchy, and hockey is the second largest of the elite teams in the city, right? So we when it doesn't clash with a home game for Malmo FF, that flag on the buses needs to be the Malmo Redhawks flag. The club needs to contact whoever is responsible for that stuff and make sure that that is what, because that is advertisement. Literally, that is part of marketing and advertisement. You're like, hey, we have a home game tonight. Buy tickets. It's like oh, why is there a Redhawks flag on the bus? So uh, all that stuff, all the small stuff is very, very important to get more people to the arena, get more people, better atmosphere, and grow the game of hockey in the city. Um, well, we started there. We started with the second question. So the first question then, who do I think should be the assistant captains? To be honest, logic does not make any sense because they put the A on the chest of Henrik Kappala, which for me was a big mistake. He did not perform. I don't care how much experience you have. You need to have your assistant captains, and your captain needs to be performing at a decent rate. Henrik Haapala as an import player was a very big disappointment. I think. Let's see. Um, I think Johan Ivarsson should be assistant captain, and I think Carl Passon should be assistant captain. Both of those are basically our new Johan Olofsson and Kristoffer Forsberg, pretty much. Those are the guys that are like the kulturbärare, the some of the core guys that are from the area. It's very important to give them the responsibility. And while Pele Kendemak is not from here, he has lived here for a long time now, and it looks like he's staying here because he signed a long contract last time around. So yeah, I think Johan Ivarsson will get the A, and then hopefully Carl Persson, or I don't know, maybe William von Bonakov is ready to take a captaincy role. I don't know. It's actually pretty difficult. So let's see here. So Pasic is out. I forgot to update that part. Who did come in? So Payunemi came in there. I think Vesterheim is going to be moved up there with Endemark and Sundberg, and then we might have Björkman or Freddie Larsson. I think something like this makes a lot of sense. Obviously, we have center who can play wing, center who can play wing, center who can play wing, winger, center who can play wing, winger. So there's a lot of flexibility here in the bottom six. But I think Axel Sundberg should stay with Fredrik Hendemark, and then you can have a playmaker in Petter Westerheim on the left side. Makes a lot of sense. Carl Persson with Linus Öberg and Robin Hansen makes a lot of sense. Or they might put them back together the way it was 2 years ago, where they played Carl Persson with Janne Kokkonen and Lauri Pajuniemi. That does make a lot of sense as well. There's a lot of flexibility, which I like. This is a strength, right? But yeah, it's gonna be we do have coverage, but I'm worried if we get like 3-4 injuries, it might be tough. And Oscar Blomgren, did I put him in here? Transfer out. Okay, so Oscar Blomgren was loaned out to Nybro Vikings. I don't know if I mentioned that last time, but I'll mention it again. He's loaned out to Nybro Vikings in the Hockeyallsvenskan. It makes a lot of sense because their head coach is the son of Patrik Silvergold, who is the CEO of Malmö Redhawks. He is the middle brother. He stopped playing hockey when I was like in his teens, I think, and then he started his career slowly working from being a junior coach to being a assistant coach for men's teams, and then now he's the head coach of Nybro Vikings. So it makes a whole lot of sense that Oscar Blomgren is being loaned there. And also they have a situation where one of their goalies is injured at the moment, so they needed coverage, and obviously we want him to get playtime, but we also want the ability to bring him back should we need to, because both Daniel Mamelind and Mark Langhammer got injured this late this past season, and Oscar Blomgren had to play, and he was playing very, very well in the playoffs. But you have to, like, the problem with putting him in Almtuna was that we were not allowed to bring him back mid-season should we need it, right? Because of injuries and stuff. That is now included in the loan deal with Nybro Vikings. Is we can bring him back should we need to. So that is perfect. I think honestly, looking at this roster on paper, we got similar depth to last year. We got a better forward. we got a little bit more. We got a better forward group, and we got pretty much. I mean, we could have potentially a better decor as well. Um, but at the very least, I don't think we've gotten worse. Right, that's the main thing. We didn't get worse at the very least. We got the same goalies, which is, but hopefully they can perform better behind a better team in front of them. Right, so that's our hope. And then Oscar Blomgren. I expect Oscar Blomgren to be ready to play in the SHL 2 seasons from now. So not this year, but 26, 27 is when we'll see him being a starter. I think he has the caliber to be a starter for Malmö Redhawks. I really, really hope he will be. Um, all right, that is it for this one. Um, I hope it wasn't too slow or too, you know. I hope you enjoyed my little walkthrough of the roster and the changes and the updates since last time, and um, my reasoning around how to attract more fans and all that stuff, and the assistant captains. Hopefully, you enjoyed it, and if you do, please can you give a thumbs up? It helps me see what you enjoy and what I should do more of, etc. Give a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and when we hit August, I will be posting a lot more frequent. I will be trying to live stream, or like live watch along kind of thing. I'm gonna try that again. Um, we'll see if that if that might attract more people to my channel. That's the idea that I have in my head. But yeah, for now, that is it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again soon. Bye for now.